Hello, Amanda. How's my sound? Am I sounding okay? Just want to make sure we get started doing all these checkups. Can you let me know if I'm not sounding echoing? Hello? Amanda, can you hear me? Am I muted? Hold on, you guys. Let's see. Am I muted? I think I got the right thing on. Not muted. Oh, okay, good. All right, wonderful. Yay, live, Lynn MCV. All right, you guys. Well, now that we know we're not muted, we are going to be reacting to a video today that was dug up from the archives, deep inside the archives. And it's a bit soft. Okay, well, let's get the sound right. Can y'all hear me okay? Is this sounding okay, or do we need to turn up the volume? I don't want to blast your ears. Can you let me know, Amanda? Because I want to get started with the right sound. Better? Okay. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. And in today's episode, you guys, as I was mentioning right a few minutes ago, we're traveling all the way back on this amazing time machine that we have called YouTube, to really analyze just how much information has been on the public record for how long, and to really juxtapose the amount of money that has been invested to sanitize and to falsely embellish Scientology's image into something that has landed us exactly where we are today, with these glossy, disgusting hotels that have been established by this multi-billion-dollar 501c that the IRS is saying that they're really, planning to save the world. So we really want to look all the way back to the earlier beginning of the puppeteering. As we see Tom Cruise, who shot himself off some building to really show everyone his OT abilities, really give us the visual of the problem. So shout out to him for really showing us a visual of him being a literal puppet with strings, being thrown off a building, and, using that hoo-ha to really kind of like embellish what's going on. Because that is the power of PR, and that is the power that Scientology utilizes to literally, throw air freshener on the excrement. That's the technology, the so-called technology of Ron Hubbard. And that's what we land with everything. But if we go all the way back, you guys, to black and white, we're gonna, react to what was already there on the public record. I mean, starting with that horrific visual. But let's really visit where the problem of Scientology actually started. So, and just let me know in the comments again for making sure that we don't have echo. Amanda, if you could just verify that once I start playing the video. So let's react to this.
To the casual eye, this road leads into a stately mansion set in a forest glade. To the people of nearby East Grinstead, an old English town set in its ways, it's a source of irritation and trouble. And as far as the British government is concerned, St. Hill Manor is a haven for sinister cultists who prey on the unwary and bilk the gullible. Whatever it is.
So there's the description of why the people were having a problem with these guys, because they prey on the gullible. So let's really re-listen to that part again, because I think it's really, really important that we see how it's being framed.
Prey on the unwary and bilk the gullible. Whatever it is.
Prey on the unwary and milk the gullible. Now, let me just offer my own little 2 cents, because the entire proposition that has been, there's a whole industry called cults. This is a cult, that's a cult, blah, blah's a cult, you're in a cult, everyone's in a cult. And it really has become such a generic whitewash, because the idea that people get told, oh, you're in a cult, then you had no shred of a clue what in the hell you were doing. And that is something that has now become the sort of narrative talking point, as if everyone involved in these like power dynamic and balance pyramid schemes aren't highly aware of what they're doing. Now, here they're talking about like how they're exploiting the gullible, and you really have to understand that Ron Hubbard was so blatantly aware of what he was pitching. And all the endorsements in the world should have never been good enough to justify what was written in the rhetoric that was giving people direction on how to act and how to behave, direction that is absolutely out of bounds with humanity. So that's point number 1. Now, point number 2 is this whole idea that no adult can sign up to be humiliated, to be enslaved, to be told that they're nothing but a degraded, pathetic being. So there are adults that love that. And plenty of the Scientology adults that are involved in this love it. They love being pulled into ethics. You really need to come to ethics. You really need to be told by a 16-year-old girl or boy, because they had both. They had underage child ethics officers that were women as young as 13. So don't think that, oh, you know, kids can do it. We're talking 13-year-olds. Bryn Canetta. Remember Bryn Canetta? Debbie Cook. You had a whole stable of underage kids doing these ethics handlings on the adults. What are the kids being expected to do with the adults? Glad that y'all asked. Because the glib, superficial understanding of what goes on in the hotels is the only reason we're still talking about nothing having changed in 74 years. So the kids that are underage, as young as 13, starting with Bryn Canetta as the first example that we're going to use to bring an actual example of an actual 13-year-old that Debbie Cook knows. She posted there. Department 3, Coachman Building, first floor, Debbie Cook. Right as you enter the elevator, right to the right, there was Bryn Canetta, Chief Student MAA. So imagine that Debbie Cook told a 13-year-old girl, your job is now to make sure that 500 random people sent from all across the world, so-called outer door trainees, random people recruited at the Scientology hotels and commercial building establishments all around the world came to Florida. Then all of a sudden, a 13-year-old girl, Bryn, Debbie Cook, Bryn Caneda, you told her now you're in charge of these 500 grown adults and underage kids, because don't forget that in Scientology, they're constantly sending underage children across state lines, across international borders. It doesn't matter. From Australia all the way to Mexico, all the way to whatever country that purports to be countries of laws, countries that really are anti-child trafficking, really going to write a lot of laws, really going to prop up and fluff up all our books here. So it really shows that we have a lot of laws that no one's around to enforce. But that individual girl that Debbie Cook tapped to be the ethics of 500 random people that showed up at that hotel is expected to humiliate and degrade these people. Oh, you really out ethics. You're really disgusting. You're really degraded. Oh my God, you wrote here, time, place, form, and event of how you were masturbating, thinking about me when you were in the bathroom. Oh, I really need to handle your ethics now, says the 13-year-old girl to the grown-ass man and a grown-ass woman that put themselves in front of children to be getting what? Serviced. So before you go, oh, none of these adults had a shred of a clue. What type of adult goes to a hotel and says, I'm here to get serviced? Y'all tell me in the comments, who says that? Who goes to a hotel, checks in, and goes, oh, yeah, I came here to get serviced? That's what the Scientology people do when they go and check in at the Fort Harrison Hotel, at the Coachman Building. I really want to come get service. I really want to do my services. I really paid for my services. Where's my underage ethics officer that's going to tell me I'm a degraded being? Where is she? I really want to go tell her my withholds. She really owes it to me, a 13-year-old girl. Why was a 13-year-old girl, Debbie Cook, being tapped on a daily basis? Remember, you really told her you're gonna save a world by sitting in front of degenerates that tell you with a straight face how they're literally essay fantasizing about you as the child. So don't get confused anymore. Don't get, oh, I didn't know what's happening. Debbie Cook knew it was happening day in and day out. Right, Debbie Cook? Wasn't Bryn sending you the reports? Dear sir, today we found that this outer door trainee from South Africa, Ryan, was doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G of essay. That is all just, getting data mined by Debbie Cook and all her executives. Oh, we're really going to save our world by finding how every one of these students are masturbating and what they think about when they're doing it. So who's confused that no one knows anything inside the hotels? Because that would be the next question to really ask people. Who is confused about what's going on? Who's confused about how it's done? Who's confused about who is at risk inside of the hotels? Who? Who has a confusion about that? Because you can thank the corporate media, who apparently is very confused. Apparently is like, oh, we're being told is this, we're being told is that, we're being told that adults this, and we're being told that adults that. That is what's going on. That is what's happening. That is why this deserves to be protested. And yes, as much as everyone wants to say, oh, the adults had no shred of a literal clue, literally start providing the receipts of how the adults didn't know. Literally start showing evidence of how adults that go and get themselves ensnared in this don't pay for it. Don't sign lengthy consent forms. Don't read the pitch in a book, in a course, in whatever way they're getting pitched, whatever disgusting things are getting pitched inside of those disgusting hotels. But as long as the truth isn't confronted, as long as everyone's running around feedy, weedy AF, unwilling to confront any evil, because we've been told everyone really wanted to save our world, is what the pitch is still in this year 2024. Oh, there could be a lot of versions to anything. There's only the version that Ron Hubbard was pitching was going to be done inside of these hotels 367 days a year, 24/7 hours a day. All of these people sound like robots pitching the same stupidity. Devoid of scruples, devoid of common sense, devoid of humanity. They dehumanize themselves as they give themselves to a disgusting convicted felon that's having his way with them. The adults that are all about this culture cannot wait to sign up, cannot wait to give them multi-million dollars of my IAS account. Let me really call my money manager to really set up a tax scheme where, yes, all of these grown adults are being given incredible tax incentives from the IRS themselves, to including but not limited to self-incriminate and launder it. So y'all can really start seeing how far they did come with their BS pitch and with their PR and with the media, cradling and canoodling, still pitching even back in the day how all these people couldn't be more gullible. I mean, it's called, they're making adult choices. They're being presented with a choice. They're being presented with a pitch from Ron Hubbard and his sycophants. Oh, you're really going to love it. You're really going to be great. You're really going to think it's wonderful. And you know what? A lot of them did think that. Plenty of adults told us ad nauseum how wonderful and great was what we were doing. Well, today, in the year 2024, you're invited to double check, to really literally double check. Like, was it really that great what you were having kids do? A la Brincanera, Debbie Cook? Because the adults know. From the very, very beginning, that has been the story that the media has not wanted to confront, you know, because they want to be cradled and canoodled to complete full-grown adults that make a choice, that transfer money, that bring their kids, that know what's going to happen in an audit, that knows what an ethics handling is, that knows exactly how a courtroom is run, and no one has a shred of problem. In the year 2024, start showing me who's had a problem with what they were doing in audits, ethics handlings, and courses. Start showing those receipts, Mike Rinder, because it doesn't sound like you've ever said anything was disgusting about any of that. Claire Headley, where the hell are you? Weren't you the RT syrup of the RT syrups of the RT syrups? Aren't you disgusted? Aren't you disgusted beyond belief? That you normalized this, that you were watching the videos, that they were being sent to you to get approved. Who was giving them the final internship pass, Claire Headley? Who was watching the videos of the underage kids doing this 24/7, 365 with all of you goo-goo gagaing over it? Googling over yourself, oh, we're so amazing. Oh, yeah, look at Serge. Isn't he going to be so great? It wasn't great what in the hell y'all were having us do. It was disgusting. We couldn't be more nauseated. We couldn't be more troubled. And it's sick that as of the year 2024, nothing has changed inside of the hotel. Well, thanks to y'all, thanks to all of you who are staying silent, who are, what is it, the title of the video? Oh, yeah. Playing dumb. Because it's the art of playing dumb. With the Scientology people, that's all you get. Oh, I'm going to really play dumb. I'm saving a planet. Stop being infantile. Stop being a degenerate, infantile Ron Hubbard protege. Find yourself somewhere. Find yourself. You're being invited to find yourself today in the year 2024 by starting to repudiate whatever in the hell you were doing at the time, whatever in the hell you were video recording, whatever in the hell you were transcribing it and calling it a session. Torturing children is not a session. Torturing children is a felony. Go check with a criminal attorney who can, I'm sure, advise you all on the difference between calling something a session. Oh yeah, this is your session. Just go get a session. Real quick, let's just really do a session here. Have underage kids all over the course rooms, really, you know, cement the culture that kids and adults are the same. Cement it, make it normal. All of you couldn't have been more mutual out roots. Let's speak to you in your own MF terms, so you don't play dumb anymore. You're all mutual out roots AF, because the convicted felon pitched to you that it would be a great idea to become full bona fide enabled by the US government child trafficking abusing degenerates. Then all of a sudden, oh, we're going to call it something else. And then all of a sudden, what? What you're calling it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what takes place in the physical universe. And we went over this just yesterday, you guys. The definition of kidnapping. Go chat GPT. What constitutes kidnapping? And again, if you're an adult that gets off getting kidnapped, no question, no comment. We couldn't care any less. Whatever in the hell it is that you're calling that transaction between you and the people at the hotel. Miss us with your definition. Miss us with what that's doing to you. Miss us with whatever in the hell you want to do. But for the 10th billion time, for the people in the back that still are glossing through this content as if it's just some sort of like, you know, new Real Housewives show with a lot of drama. Let's really drum up a lot of drama. Let's really talk about a lot of BS. Altered importance that has nothing to do with confronting the facts on their face. But where is that energy? Where is that? Oh yeah, we really want to help. Where's the help? Where's the help for the children inside of the hotels? None of them are getting a shred of help as we speak. All Scientology parents are out there, you know, getting deals with the Desperate Housewives of New York to, you know, really sanitize an image. But what they've done is indefensible. What they've done is unsanitizable. There's nothing to sanitize. Everything is disgusting and abominable, and it needs to be repudiated at the literal voice of now. Not tomorrow, not mañana. Oh yeah, mañana I'm gonna get my ethics in. Bullshit. Get your ethics in today. What in the hell are all the Scientology parents waiting for? Oh yeah, gonna start doing my conditions. Start doing your conditions right now. Start making up the damage. For starters, start making up the damage. Start really finding out who in the hell you are. And check with ChatGPT if you're involved in child trafficking, because you know what? There's where your amends are gonna come from. Making amends from all the child trafficking that you have enabled, paid for, supported, agreed with, and been very mutual out roots about. Staying out there in the nothing to do with me club, as all of you were all about pitching back in the day at the hotel when we were children. Oh, don't be part of the nothing to do with me club. Well, you know what? Y'all are literally part of the nothing to do with me club. Y'all are part of the, oh yeah, better luck next lifetime for all the kids that y'all witnessed be abused. For the 10th billionth time, if kids were being delivered Scientology, they were getting abused. In what MF world in this year 2024, with all the decades that all these Scientology parents have been out of the bubble of the hotel and none of them have a shred of self-awareness? Damn. No self-awareness, huh? Nothing. No more OW tech. What happened to OW tech, Scientology parents? What happened to writing time, place, form, and event of any kind of criminal act you would have known about when you were inside of the hotels? Why is ethics canceled the minute that the Scientology parents walk out of the threshold of the hotel, you guys? Why? They were all about the ethics inside. Never mind that they were incriminating themselves and then laundering it internal in the hotel. Never mind, none of them were confessing to actual full-blown felonies and, not taking themselves to any type of law enforcement. Just, here at the hotel, we just pay on the Amex and then, get the tax write-off and then, on to the next one. There is no world in which anything changes when it hasn't been literally called out, when it hasn't been confronted by the people that purport that really want to save kids and really want to save the cause. What is being done to help any kids inside of these hotels? Scientology parents, you can start really writing an essay about that.
It is. The manor is also world headquarters for Scientology, the brainchild of a one-time science fiction writer, L for Lafayette, Ron Hubbard, who has been barred from Britain and who is said by some to be living on a yacht now moored off Tunisia.
Barred from Britain, living in a yacht. Now, who do we know was in that yacht? Was 12-year-old Shelley Miscavige on that yacht? Is that called child trafficking? Can anyone check? Can anyone leave it in the comments if that's called child trafficking? Or is it being called something else? For the benefit of who? Of the man who's banned from Britain and floating around in a ship filled with underage kids. Who put the kids in the hands of L. Ron Hubbard? Who put the underage kids to become trafficked slaves of a game they couldn't consent to? Who decided that turning children into slaves was something that could be protected as very legal and very valid? How do children end up ensnared in this culture? Who places the kids in harm's way? Whose job, whose responsibility, whose accountability, who's outsourcing their parental instincts, their parental responsibilities, their legal responsibilities to a hotel filled with randoms? Who? That's who was staffing the hotels, you guys. Bunch of randoms. Oh, yeah, this one's from Venezuela. This one's from, China. This one from Japan. This one from Germany. Oh, trust these people. You have no idea how trustworthy they are. They all completed a 2-week course inside of a hotel, and then all of a sudden they had unfettered access to underage kids, something that apparently no one gives an F about. No one couldn't be any less bothered. No one couldn't be any less pressed. It's like, have at it. All these parents agreed that children are fair game to abuse, to lock up, to kidnap, to grab their passports, to yell at them, to scream at them, to essay them, to whatever in the hell they do. They always end up where not? At the Clearwater Police Department. That's where they're not going to end. And before anybody goes, oh, maybe they did end up there, start asking the Clearwater Department to show y'all how many complaints, how many investigations, how much of anything they've ever had in all their decades of being their neighbor. Let's start with that investigation, because you know what that's called in Scientology? Outpoint. It's omitted data. They have no data about the crime that these people are committing, because apparently they couldn't be more clueless. They couldn't be more about literally guarding the buildings where I was locked up as a child, Clearwater Police. So before you go, oh, we weren't doing anything wrong, you were guarding the door of the Clearwater building where I was locked up as a child while I was being trafficked. In what side of the law is the Clearwater Police? Because start putting a little statement for yourselves real quick, Clearwater Police, and start explaining how the law works. Because we that grew up inside of a hotel without a high school education couldn't be more confused, given the fact that we were being trafficked, we were having our passports locked up, we were being essayed as children, we were being put in unconscionable, disgusting situations that Debbie Cook could tell you all about, Clearwater Police. So call her real quick and see if she'll corroborate or help or do something other than collect a check. Go knock on that woman's door. Why in the hell is she just cashing checks and living it up while she was trafficking kids at industrial size scale right behind y'all's police department?
And what is Scientology? Good question. I put it to Jane Kember, who with David Gaiman, a one-time real estate agent, is a spokesman for the school.
We address the being or the spirit or the soul, whatever you wish to say, the person.
We address the being, the soul. Well, thank God that you have a child that grew up inside of your disgusting hotels, woman. I'm sure she's dead by now, you guys. But do you see how the little fake pitch from Scientology adults always is? Oh, we're addressing the being. Oh, you're not a body. Don't forget, you're not a body. Whatever this body is, this is just overrated. This is a disgusting organism that you have nothing to do with. It's just your spirit, and we address your spirit over here. It's called disassociation. It's called, this is how these degenerates disassociate kids, by telling the child that they're not a body, that they're a spirit. So anything goes, because this woman says that they're a spirit, and then all of a sudden, inside of the hotels, that little innocent pitch that really comes across religious by all the idiots that have no idea how to pull a string, by all the idiots that have no idea how to corroborate a document of Ron Hubbard where all the pitches are right there for everyone to read. But the mainstream media is too lazy. There's no investigative reporters. No one can read Ron Hubbard. Y'all are too stupid to do a shred of due diligence. Imagine that, you guys. All the investigative reporters just want to get told how it is at the hotel. They don't want to do the courses. They don't want to do the audits. They don't want to go inside. They don't want to look for themselves. They want no skin in the game, but they want to grift and make lots of crazy, oh yeah, let's really type this real quick. So it's very important that you guys realize just how easy it is for these people to go, oh yeah, we couldn't be just about addressing the being and the spirit, while a child is locked up in one of these hotel rooms being told that, you know, they cannot leave because even if they don't like it, whatever will turn it on will turn it off. So if you're disliking this abuse, we need to keep doing the abuse, because, you know, abusing you more is going to make you not feel abused anymore. So when anyone in the comments has a way to defend that, start typing it, because right about now, this is giving complete psychopath on wheels. But no one could see through this woman's fake pitch, you guys. That's what happened.
Person is, and we raise or help that person to raise their level of awareness spiritually. And the more aware the individual becomes of himself and of others and of the environment, the more able he is to handle the environment himself.
Imagine these people are talking about awareness, you guys. What type of awareness are these people really giving? Is the gaslighting pitch of the millennia. Oh yeah, we're really going to make you more aware. Yeah, you make them aware that they committed a felony. That's true. You ask them, have you committed any felony for which you have not been arrested? And then all of a sudden the person is becoming very aware that they committed that felony, right? Through your audits. And then all of a sudden you are there data mining that felony in full, time, place for an event, finding all the criminal aspects of the felony that was committed, right? And then what? You help the individual by what? What is this awareness help? What is this awareness help that's really being done by these people? Aware of committing criminal acts is not something you should be boasting about, literally.
Himself and others.
The organization claims members in most Western countries, including Canada, and 16,000 in Britain alone.
I mean, look at the way that these people are back in the day, you guys. I mean, there's video, physical evidence of how these people are behaving and what type of insane, disgusting psychopath asylum they have you in, you know, but everything is sanitized and curated. But, you know, we are on the flip side, so we can see straight through the BS pitch, literally straight through it.
Alone. They pay any...
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. So for all of you who are wondering, was Scientology really about child slaves from the very get-go? There's your physical evidence. There. Is Scientology pretend that a child is an adult? There's your physical evidence. Does Scientology treat children just like the adults, pretending that that child consented in the same way that the same adult grown-ass man next to him, exploiting him? Breaking news, this is what child exploitation looks like. Hello, LAPD. Hello, Clearwater Police Department. Hello. This is what child exploitation looks like. You got a bunch of adults, and then you got children, and then all the adults are exploiting the kid. All of them. All of them are playing their part in the exploitation of this child who couldn't just literally be the evidence that we found with a simple literal GTS, Googling real quick, and finding that, look, there's the children from the very, very beginning. A child that would have been expected to be asking men how they masturbate, asking women what they're masturbating about, what they're thinking about, because for the 10 billionth time, don't just think that the Scientology hotels has male predators. At the Scientology hotels, the women and the men are just as disgusting, just as insane, just as entitled, just as Ron Hubbard told us, just as complete Delulu land is what you see full-time, 24/7, 365 with these people. Oh yeah, Ron Hubbard really did tell me this. And then all of a sudden, again, it's the lack of humanity that you can see. It's been all over the public record for however long it's been, but even these people that back in the day got access internally, saw kids being abused and, you know, decided to, you know, pitch their stupid sanitized version of the facts that had nothing to do with what was wrong with this picture. In what world can no one see what's wrong with this picture, you guys? I mean, seriously. If you're going to investigate, you're going to have to know how to find what doesn't make sense. So again, for the idiots in America that have no idea how to investigate, that never went to a Scientology school where we were taught how to investigate. So investigating 101, what doesn't make sense in this picture? What's not fitting in this picture? The age of this child being used here makes no shred of sense, but apparently the corporate media has glossed straight through that and they think it makes a lot of sense. So in what world is the corporate media not complicit in sanitizing the image? Because all the times that you've been missing Scientology's withhold corporate media, another little word that we should start teaching you so you all stop being so pathetic. When you miss the withhold, when you're not finding what they're really actually trying to withhold from you, this is the withhold Scientology doesn't want found. This is the withhold that none of the Scientology executives want to cop out to because, oh, that's going to make me a child abuser. I don't want to be told that. Well, double check. Double check with your grandmaster, daddy figure, Ron Hubbard. Double check what in the hell you all have normalized. Ron Hubbard didn't do it alone. He's had enablers. He's had parents that signed up. Whoever signed up this kid there did the same exact child trafficking criminal felony that my own Scientology parents did as they were dumping me inside of that hotel with my passport locked up and with, you know, getting abused by Debbie Cook. I mean, same shit, different air freshener. This is black and white footage, you guys. Imagine that the only thing that has changed in the Scientology coverage after all these decades is Now we're doing it in color, you know? Back in the day, it was black and white, but, you know, same shit, different air freshener. Everything is stuck. It's stuck in whatever this man wrote back in those days. In 65, L. Ron Hubbard said, this is my great idea. And then everyone's still doing that today in the year 2024.
Anything from a few cents for literature written by Hubbard to hundreds of dollars for the right to attend classes at the Manor. To people who live near the Manor, Scientology is a pain in the neck.
I'm sure there's something sinister about it. For instance, some of the techniques they have of teaching.
Such as?
Well, for instance, on this driveway just down here, we hear this shouting, that's indoctrination, I suppose they call it, where these two people will sit on two chairs opposite one another, and a man or the woman will have a small object in his hand. He will pick this up. While he's doing so, he will shout in a very loud voice, "Stand up, sit down, thank you. Stand up, thank you. Sit down, thank you." This will sometimes go on for as much as 2 to 3 hours.
Do you really think that...
So, just so you guys know what he's talking about is this stupid drill in Scientology that they have. You do with an ashtray, as he said, and you have to yell and scream at the ashtray for hours and hours on end. It's called the upper indoctrination. So for all Scientology parents that want to say, oh, we didn't indoctrinate our children, then why in the hell are children doing courses called the upper indoctrination? Because sounds pretty indoctrinating to me. Little did I know what in the hell that meant at the time, you guys. Little did I know what in the hell these MFers were normalizing as they were ripping away our entire formative years, as they were falsely purporting that we were there on the same terms as the rest of all the grown-ass adults that were getting off on the technology pitched by the convicted felon, that were getting off on doing this drill of the ashtray, screaming at the ashtray for 3 hours like all complete deranged bamboozling idiots. Just stand up, scream, and oh yeah, you're really showing intention here. You're really teaching. You're really getting across something. It's disgusting. It's completely deplorable. It couldn't be more sick. It couldn't be more nauseating. And again, I don't give an F if these adults wanted to do it. No one can come save you. No one owes you shit. You want to yell at an ashtray for 3 hours and you want to pay for that? In what world is that person not an actual consenting party of said disgusting role plays pitched by the convicted felon? Because even then, this guy, you know, he's thought, okay, there's something sinister going on, but little did they know the sinister shit was exposing the underage kids to this. It's having that little kid that we just saw a few frames ago subjected to that disgusting ashtray when we were having to scream at the ashtray, not knowing what in the hell these people wanted, but do the drill, do the drill. If you said, I don't want to do the drill, do the drill, do the drill. They had a whole thing about do the drill. It's all a drill, it's all a drill, and you have to really drill it, and you have to be very professional to drill. And when you drill, like the word drill is literally drilled into you as a child. You cannot repudiate it. You cannot say no. You cannot say this is disgusting. What's your misunderstood? Why are you critical of L. Ron Hubbard? What's your problem? What's your big issue? That's what these adults would be doing, turning it around on you for wanting to not do it. And as children, you don't know. You don't know why all of these crazy asses, disgusting people are just yelling and screaming and doing all these things. You just have to acquiesce to the bullshit environment. You have no other choice. Your other choice is to end up homeless and as roadkill next to the street. And as a child, you go, oh, I really have to survive here. I really have to do whatever my parents are telling me. And all of these disgusting degenerates that are all in on the group role play, screaming at ashtrays, doing disgusting unhinged things, all in front of each other to erode common sense boundaries, to very much groom all the kids. So when they're getting abused, they can't feel it because they already know it. They've already been told is this. They've already been told is that. They've already been given the false pitch that our abusers and predators were putting together so that, you know, we wouldn't feel it as we were getting abused. And so that many other kids don't feel what they're getting done to themselves when they don't know what in the hell is going on. They do not have the capacity to understand. We thought we understood. We sounded like adults. We sounded all-knowing. We sounded like we really know what in the hell we were talking about. We couldn't have been more clueless, and we couldn't have been more literally the prey of these degenerates that are nowhere on the public record showing any remorse, any disgust with themselves, any coming clean on the actual things that count, not the amount of BS paperclip withholds that have been allowed to surface. I'm really going to come clean. Let me tell you about a time that David Miscavige beat me. Let me tell you, time, place, form, and event when David Miscavige beat me. Let me tell you all about it. Let's all talk about it ad nauseum in the entire country. Let's have all these literal circle jerks going around this media. Oh, it's Anderson Cooper really wants to find out how adults are getting beat up by a grown-ass man. And then none of them can see, oh, well, are these grown men the ones that are in charge of? How many hundreds of kids did you say they were in charge of? But nobody pulls the string. Nobody goes, oh, so you and you are beating each other up and enjoying it and having some sort of weird ass executive fest to save our world by beating each other, whatever in the hell that's called. But then those are the ones that had full unfeathered access to kids. Mike Rinder could, you know, grab a few kids from Australia, Miriam and her brothers, and oh yeah, you know, we really need your mom to really help us at the Ron Hubbard Museum. Debbie Cook, oh yeah, we really need your son to help us save our world inside of our disgusting hotels doing disgusting grooming courses. And just like that, the whole entire operation is working like a well-oiled machine because, again, as much as everybody really is worried about the adults, no one is literally giving an F about the kids, ever.
They're trying to take over the world?
Yes, I do.
I think the whole thing is just a confidence trick.
Businesses in nearby East Grinstead who balk at helping the Scientologists or who speak ill of them have been declared out of bounds. But for some citizens, the cult hits home in a more personal way. Mrs. Helen Waitman says it turned her son against her.
He simply announced that he was a Scientologist now and he wouldn't be living at home anymore. And he went.
And there you go, you guys. Parental alienation, one of the favorite things of Scientology to do. If this mother was not a Scientologist, if she wasn't all about it, if she wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, if she wasn't all hoo-ha-ha-rah for L. Ron Hubbard, then, oh, disconnect from your mother. Oh, she doesn't want to save a world. Oh, she doesn't want you to get better. Oh, she couldn't be more disgusting. She couldn't be more depraved. Get rid of her. Disconnect from her. What are you doing with her? Does that sound to anyone like people that are saving the world? God knows how young the son was. Maybe he was a grown adult. And again, for the 10 billionth time, if a full-grown adult of this woman wants to be that and wants to get ensnared in that, why are people pretending that that's something that really someone can go and help and really go intervene and really go and stop? These people get unfeathered access to kids inside of the hotel. So if any of them are looking for that, they're getting it there. And if they're not looking for it, they're also getting it there. So either way, everyone's effed, especially the kids.
Beneath these stones, the ashes of 3 people believed to have been witches and burned to death in 1556. The Scientologists of 1968 say that they too are the subject of a witch hunt. The good burghers of East Grinstead say they don't go that far, but if they had their way, the Scientologists would move to greener pastures. Ron Chester, CBC News, East Grinstead.
See, guys, it's all just such a big witch hunt. Oh, yeah. The problem with these predators is that the only tool they have is to project. Once they've been cornered, once they're being actually questioned over the facts, all they can do is try to distract so that they don't have to answer the interrogation questions. The interrogation questions that we're posing here today to all the Scientology parents who committed criminal acts against your children. Double check if child trafficking is a felony, Scientology parents. Go check on that very quickly and figure it out. Because whether you thought you were saving a world or you thought that dumping your child at 15 inside of a hotel was a very legally protected activity, go quickly double check on that fact. If you're one of those Scientology parents that dumped your child inside of a Scientology hotel, purporting that as underage children, they could consent to sign a contract, then you, Scientology parents that did that to your child, are the ones that need to be calling the FBI nonstop, cooperating with the criminal investigation, offering evidence, offering information that leads to stopping the practice that you all normalized for the kids that were getting abused back in the day then. A lot of y'all always say, oh, well, what can we do to help? That's what they can do. Put pressure on the Scientology parents, put pressure on the Scientology executives, put pressure on the Scientology adults, put pressure on where the pressure belongs. Stop getting your attention hijacked by 1,000,001 altered importances that are being offered all over the place to distract the community with the reality TV show of adults having problems with another adults, and let's really all get our dopamine hit from that for entertainment purposes. Fine, you want to check out, you want to disassociate, fine. But we're talking about a mission of exposing what has been allowed, what has been sanctioned, what has been literally the Internal Revenue Service giving these people the tax write-off to have their way with kids inside of these Scientology hotels. Given the fact that that's extremely corrupt, we don't have a shred of patience to entertain any other drama or whatever. It's like there's no bandwidth for that. I think that the video was trying to expose Scientology all those years ago. Yeah, Carrie, and unfortunately, again, you know, we saw the abysmal failure of the even media to not have seen a child involved in the hotels there and not going, wait. Miss me with your pitch. Oh, I really love it here. Oh my God, you have no idea how spiritual it is. Why is that child here? How long does he work? Is that child being audited? Is that child being ethics handled? Is that child being given disgusting grooming courses? Who are the parents? Where is his passport? Those are all the questions that the media just, we're being told everyone's being helped. This one say they are, this one say they're not. We're the media. We don't know how to investigate a shred of nothing. We can literally investigate ourselves out of a literal paper bag. And perhaps it pisses me off more than anyone else, you guys, because once again, for the 10 billionth time, we were made investigators and interrogators inside of those hotels. We were given assignments to interrogate and get to the bottom of shit. And if we didn't get to the bottom of shit, our heads were spliced in two. We were underage kids when we were doing these jobs for the Scientology executives. Imagine the media is getting paid. Imagine the media is going to university. Imagine the media is coming from loving, great families, and he still have no idea how to investigate anything and pull any strings and see what's so obviously wrong with this picture when they all have tried to make it about the adults. Can adults do this to themselves? Are they gullible? Are they this? Are they that? Maybe they are who they are. But the tragedy is the amount of children that have had no advocates, no one to talk about them, no one to give them a voice, no one to defend them inside of the Scientology hotels or outside the Scientology hotels. So better luck next lifetime is not flying for us anymore. As of the year 2024, we couldn't be more disgusted or sick. Because again, if no one's making these points, how was anyone supposed to save us when we were there? I almost fell into it a few years ago, started Dianetics, attended at an IS event, and I think I was called, they did something called touch assist, and it was a strange experience. I mean, and that's the point, Jack, that, you know, again, it's like how an adult goes through a recruitment cycle and goes through becoming part of that hotel, and how a child that cannot consent to the same thing is completely different. You know, when you as a child end up getting a touch assist with a disgusting person random inside of a hotel and they're touching all over your body, it's nauseating beyond. So I understand that as an adult, you know, people can go check out different things for themselves and maybe that works for them. You know, it didn't work for you. Lucky for you that you were able to see how it was, you know, literally so disgusting, like you say right here. So lucky for you that you had that intuition. Lucky for you that you had that capability. And that's why, you know, we are counting on all of you guys becoming aware of this problem and really actually helping us advocate and share the message and share the concern because, you know, once again, so all these decades, 74 years of Scientology existing, and no one is speaking or advocating for the kids. And the adults that are left that were abusing the kids that could have realized it, that could have said, oh my God, what in the F was I thinking, are too busy cashing checks for themselves instead of stopping what in the hell they were doing and propping up and handling, you know, with the case of Debbie Cook. She's literally Ghislaine Maxwell on steroids. And imagine the insult, the slap in the face it is for children that were trafficked by Debbie Cook, of which there's hundreds, if not thousands. And she's the one that's, you know, getting a paycheck and living a life pretending that, you know, she really wanted to blow a whistle when all she ever did was, why are you giving your money to David instead of giving it to me? That's what Debbie Cook was pressed about. Despite the, again, the idiotic media being so stupid, not being able to read through Debbie Cook's pitch. And there is an entire reaction video that I did debunking her fake pitch, you guys. So we've already set the record straight on all of this. And we've already spoken to the facts and what needs to be addressed and what people need to stop playing dumb. Because the puppeteering is ongoing at full blast. But Scientology parents need to realize that you're an adult making adult choices. And if you're being yourself, allowing yourself to be puppeteered, and then that puppeteering ends up in your child being in harm's way, you are going to be legally liable for putting your child in harm's way. Because children without parents would have never ended up inside of the hotel. So the parents couldn't be more the who and the why on what the child abuse was so rampant, what the child abuse was so normalized, what the child trafficking was being called. Oh yeah, they're serving up 1 billion years in a contract to turn him into a slave because they're not a slave, they're a religious volunteer. That's what Monique Yingling is really going with. Imagine that you have full-blown so-called legal experts really defending a client that would be so unhinged as to have an industrial size scale of army of underage kids being used in indefensible, disgusting, despicable ways that we are inviting anyone to make a point why kids were okay to be audited, ethics handled, and put through disgusting grooming courses. We're waiting for that defense to be made. And before anybody goes, oh, but it was a very religious experience, miss us with the BS. Kidnapping is not a religious experience. Being held against your will is not a religious experience. Being asked disgusting questions in a room by disgusting randoms that just get full unfettered access to you is not a religious experience for a shred of child. So y'all's delusion of what the facts are, fed to you by the corporate media, fed to you by the IRS, fed to you by Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, and David Miscavige that really went knock, knock, IRS. We really want to save our world. Help us. That's your delusion. That's your infantilism to deal with. That's you being unable to have a shred of critical thinking skills. And you know what? Miss us with your inability to confront the facts. If you're so immature, if you're so infantile, and if you're so stupid, we cannot help you. We can only speak to what the facts are, and we're only demanding answers that make a shred of sense. Given the year is 2024, given there's been decades, and there's nothing on the public record advocating, calling out, or doing anything to help the kids in Scientology. Do they have Scientology schools in the US too? Yeah. Yeah, Jack. They have the Scientology schools. They have Delphi. They have Clearwater Academy. The Scientology parents need teachers that are going to be, you know, mandated reporters that are not reporting anything. So imagine that the scheme goes to getting all mandated reporters around that child completely handicapped and compromised, because children don't go to regular schools. Then you go to a doctor. Oh, well, it's a vetted Scientology doctor. So you don't go to a doctor either. You don't go to a school. You can't go to a therapist. You can only go and get interrogated at the hotel to fix you. That's how they pitch it to you. Oh, yeah, go get a session. Go get a sec check. You're really acting out. You really need to get your overts and withholds pulled. So the schools couldn't be more the problem, as is a feeding line, as is a grooming line, as is a line that's purporting that these establishments are really running in good faith. We would question that good faith given the amount of access of information, internal information that we learned while we were interrogating people in that hotel, including but not limited to self-admitted essayers of kids that were in these schools that Debbie Cook knows all about. Because she was told, oh, someone had an out-to-D at the A2B school, Debbie Cook. Let me type this report for you. Oh, look here. Here's the report, Debbie Cook. Read it. Handle it. Put one of your juniors, one of your child ethics people to go really deal with the person that committed a full-blown felony, confess about the felony, got the child interrogated, had the child been telling everything about the felony, so everybody knew. Everybody knew. And what goes on in these Scientology schools couldn't be more disgusting and grooming behavior. Yeah, the children have no one to turn to. I mean, that's what we're sounding the alarm, guys. That's why we're bringing up these points. That's what this is the only subject we ever talk about. Do they even teach them normal functional skills, or is it just Ron Hubbard tech? I mean, they just let children read the books and do the check sheets. Everything is done in the L. Ron Hubbard course room model. So it's like, you know, you're preparing them so that when they end up at the Scientology course room, they're very familiar because that's how they were being taught as children to learn. So all of this couldn't be more disgusting and grooming. Because yes, from the very beginning, from the whole schooling thing, they're grooming the children that when they end up at the hotels, everything is the same. And nothing raises a red flag for a child that's been encapsulated, that's been kidnapped against their will, that's been literally, you know, taken away from the world to really depend on these people that are all about misinformation, are all about spreading the words and defending what a convicted felon pitched. So you guys now understand what the problem is. The problem is alive and well. The problem was alive and well back in the day. There were children involved and ensnared in the hotels back in the day. There's children involved and ensnared as we speak today. So please keep sharing our message. Please keep asking more people to care and help us in raising our voice, in demanding answers to our questions, demanding answers that make sense, demanding change so that kids are not in the exact same danger that all of these adults normalized with us as kids when we were there. We couldn't be more disgusted or nauseated that this is still going on. And only until enough people care will it ever change. Only until there's more people actually becoming aware. Talk about an awareness problem. Well, we're here to bring your awareness up. The public has been lied to. The public has been fed a bunch of misinformation by the corporate media and by the Scientology executives and by the Scientology parents and by literal L. Ron Hubbard, New York Times best-selling author that he is. So all of that misinformation isn't just going to go away by snapping a finger. People need to come forward. People need to get on the record. People need to set the record straight. People need to repudiate. If you were ensnared and if you were made to do this, then today would be the day to stop saying that that was normal. Today would be the day to stop saying that, oh yeah, that really made a lot of sense and we were really saving somebody. None of the people that were involved in these hotels were saving anything. As long as children are being abused, as long as that's the nuclei of the disgusting criminal racketeering scheme, no one is doing anything with a shred of validity. And that, in Scientology terms, is called an outpoint. Contrary facts. I'm saving a world and children are enslaved. Enslaving the children is a contrary fact to saving a world. So, saving a world is a full-blown falsehood. It's that simple, Scientology parents. So cannot put it in more simple words, cannot put it in more of a clear, succinct message. The message is stop playing dumb. The message is get your ethics actually in, and this time not inside of a hotel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.